This is the point where you have to wonder if the Cowboys have just dug too deep a hole to get out of. They lose to the Eagles, now 2.5 games back of the Giants in the NFC East standings, and they got to play at least one more before Tony Romo is eligible to return. I don't even know who you start at quarterback, given that Matt Castle had some productivity, but also threw a pick six that was a huge turning point in that game. Whether it's him or Brandon Weeden, Cowboys have to find some way to get a win next week at Tampa. The Eagles host the Dolphins. I take what I saw in Charlotte as more a sign that the Panthers are really good than the Packers suddenly are really bad. Green Bay's played two really good football teams on the road the past 2 weeks. Haven't won either one, but they still have Aaron Rodgers. That secondary that's all sorts of depleted is going to heal up at some point. Good time to get right next week back at Lambeau Field against the struggling Lions. Panthers visit the Titans. I didn't think LaMarcus Joyner's hit on Teddy Bridgewater was flagrant. It was a dumb, reckless play by a young football player, and that's going to happen sometimes. The problem is, if you're Joyner, you play for the Rams, which means you play for Greg Williams, which means you're playing for a guy who has a history, as Vikings coach Mike Zimmer pointed out post-game. In my mind, story of the day, 4 straight wins now for the Vikings. This one, the best one yet. They're tied atop the NFC North standings with the Packers. They got to go to Oakland next while the Rams host the Bears. Nobody's been hit by key injuries quite like the Steelers this season, but honestly, they had to be relieved that Ben Roethlisberger's injury wasn't even worse. It's a mid-foot sprain, and I was told he'll miss at least a few weeks. Timing actually is on the Steelers' side. They host the Browns, then have the bye. Landry Jones, once again, is going to have to hold it down until Ben gets back. As bad as it's looked at times this season, it's way too soon to count out Andrew Luck and the Colts. They've played 3 of their best games this season against the best opponents on their schedule. They took New England to the wire, they rallied to take the Panthers to the wire, and they finished the job Sunday against the Broncos and a defense that had just completely shut down Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if it's Rob Chudzinski or just Andrew Luck finally playing up to his ability, but if he's playing like that, that's a team that's going to scare some people come January.